Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. It's easy, fast, and it helps us produce new content.
15 minutes into being home, and I was surprised that my wife, Sarah, hadn't arrived yet. She often stayed late at work a few nights a week, but she usually got home before me. I was in the kitchen, cooking dinner, when my phone rang. "Hey honey, still at work?" I asked. "Yes, Mike, but we're about to leave." She replied, "I have a surprise for you that I think you'll like. At least, I hope so. I'll definitely like it. We need to talk when you get home. So please, brace yourself for the conversation. I'll be home in 20 minutes. I have to start dinner, or, just get something." "No, Mike, we won't have time for that tonight. Maybe later." "Mike, just remember that I love you, and only you. I can't wait to see you." "I love you too, and I'll be waiting for you with open arms." 20 minutes later, Sarah arrived. I immediately noticed she looked a bit disheveled. Her clothes were wrinkled, and her makeup and hair were a little messy. What a messy day it must have been. "It looks like you had a tough time. Sarah, you seem a bit ruffled." Sarah quickly approached me and hugged me, looking me deep in the eyes. She whispered, "Mike, you know how much I love you, and I know you love me and would do anything for me, right?" "Of course, Sarah. Maybe I wouldn't kill for you, but I'd do almost anything else. Besides, what's going on? I'm eager to hear. What kind of trouble you got into this time?" "No, it's not like that at all. Let me talk first, and then you can ask questions. You know how you let me make almost all of our decisions, and you're so good and loving to me, letting me do almost anything I want in the end." She continued, "A few weeks ago, I told my boss, Richard, about our relationship, and he had some ideas that seemed to make sense to me. He read some stories about submissive men who like it when their wives dominate and how it really helps improve their relationships. I have to admit, Mike, that those stories were very erotic and really stimulated my fantasies." "Sarah, yes, I'm easygoing with you, and I allow you to make decisions on things that are important to you, like vacations, which movies to watch, which restaurant to go to, and even what clothes I should wear, if you remember. But if I give you freedom in those areas, questions like what house we'll buy, what cars we'll buy, how we'll invest our money, and major financial decisions, those are things I decide. But I don't think that just makes me love you and want you to be happy." My dad once told me that the secret to a happy, stress-free marriage is not to worry about the small things. And he reminded me that almost everything is a small thing, and life should be lived in the most positive and happy way possible. "Well, Mike, I still think my boss was right when he compared you to him. He's authoritarian, powerful, and takes what he wants. People bow to his strong personality and do what he decides, not the other way around. He explained that he's a dominant, alpha male at the top of the hierarchy, while people like you, even though you're caring and gentle, are quite beta males and like to be dominated and submit. Maybe they don't know it yet, but they have that quality waiting to come out." Well, I think that's third-rate psychological quackery, and I don't agree. "But where are you going with this?" When I said that, I saw a bit of guilt in her expression, and her confidence dwindled a bit. "Mike, my boss told me he plans to dominate me in bed and have sex with me in a way I've never experienced before. He has a large penis and prides himself on knowing how to use it, and over the past few weeks, he's made me feel it in his office. I have to admit, Mike, it's huge and pulsating when I stroked it. That was wrong, and I probably crossed a line that a young, newly married wife should avoid, but I was really excited and I had fantasies about him seducing me in his office. He told me that as a submissive, it's possible you'll actually enjoy seeing me like this, and if not, we'll have the most incredible sex of our lives when I get back." After having dirty sex with him and ... she trailed off. I stared at her, waiting for a climax. But I suddenly realized she was serious and that she was telling me she had actually felt his penis and who knows what else. "What the hell, Sarah, you're kidding, right? How could you think I'd be okay with that?" "Mike, I know you love me and I know you want me to be happy. I'm convinced this will take our love and our sex life to a whole new level." "Sarah, are you telling me you had sex with your boss? What the hell were you thinking?" "No, Mike, I would never have been unfaithful to you. Liar, you already have. You've had intimate conversations with Richard and now you told me you stroked his penis. To hell with that." She lowered her eyes and, unable to look me in the eye, said, "No, Mike, not yet. In fact, he just fingered me in the car on the way over here, and he's waiting outside the house while we talk, and then we'll go up to our room and you can watch if you want. Richard would love that, but if not, when we're done, you can come find me and I'll be happy to let you do anything you've always dreamed of doing to me." "You're kidding now. You go out and let him finger you and you believe his crap, thinking you'll get with me after you've been with him. I feel like throwing up, and what happens now?" "Sarah, why don't I just say no and demand that you throw him out?" Sarah winced in a panic. I realized she wasn't prepared for that answer, so now she would obviously try a more assertive approach, probably trained by her bastard boss. "Mike, you love me, and I want you to love me. You always let me do things my way, and I've decided this would be good for us. At least let's try it once." though I'm sure it will be so good, we'll probably want to keep going. Now I'm going up to get ready for him. And for you, you can let him in, and then just wait until we're done. I know you'll want this for me because you love me, and I know it will be so good for us. Sarah, I see your head, and apparently our marriage and our vows are in it. So go get ready, and I'll go out and have a chat with your lover. Mike, he's not my lover, he's just hard, powerful, and dominant sex. I will always love only you. I will be yours forever, and you will be mine. With these words, Sarah approached me to hug and kiss me, but I pushed her away and saw the surprise and pain in her eyes. Well, don't let that distract you, Sarah. I understand that you'll do this no matter what he says. If not now, soon, maybe without even telling me. Even if the reality is you've already cheated on me anyway. So, get up and get ready. Her guilty look and astonishment at my statement made her stop, but then she turned to leave. On the stairs, she gave in, turned, and said, "You'll see, Mike, it's going to be epic." Yes, Sarah, it's going to be epic. You have every right to do that. When she went up the stairs, I put my hand in my pocket and took out her car keys, the house keys, and I took the phone out of her purse, our joint credit card. Then I went to the kitchen, grabbed a cloth, the kitchen towel drawer, and some cable ties from the supply box. I also grabbed a very large butcher knife and went out to meet Richard. Richard was sitting in his car in the driver's seat, looking at his phone. When I went out, he rolled down the driver's window and said, "Well, little Mike, I guess you got to talk to your wife. Don't worry, I'll keep letting her sleep with you. At least for now, until you're completely at my mercy." I didn't let him finish his last statement. I put my whole body into the cruelest and most brutal left hook I was able to deliver and hit him right in the middle of the face. The satisfying crunching sound of bones and the jet of blood confirmed that it hurt. The blood dripped from his face onto the Brooks Brothers suit and the upholstery of his Mercedes. I handed him a dish towel and I said to him, "Here, you might need this." Ricky quickly took it to his nose, and when he did that, I zipped it around his left wrist. I pulled it up, wrapped it around the headrest bar, and pulled hard. Then I opened the car door and gave him another left hook, although this time I hit him right in the groin. The family jewels, his supposedly big penis and balls, leaned forward in the seat, all scrunched up. With his left wrist tied to the headrest, he, with his right hand, grabbed the steering wheel and screamed in pain, and I immediately took the opportunity to tie his right hand to the steering wheel. I leaned towards his face and told him, "What, a big, strong, alpha male, and dominant, huh? Having a hard time becoming? What a pathetic sack of S, asterisk, 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 asterisk you are. You analyzed this situation as badly as you were capable of, and you will learn from your mistakes. Unfortunately for you, Sarah is waiting for something epic, so let's give it to her." I grabbed a water hose that was lying on the grass. It was attached to a steel nozzle perfectly suited for spraying water. I turned and broke the side window, turning it into a mass of fragments that soiled the inside of the seat and the floor of the car. Then I went to the front of the car and hit the windshield, and although I couldn't break it, I filled it with cracks and dents, as if pieces of hail the size of golf balls had fallen. I also broke the headlights, which gave me great satisfaction. I returned to the driver's window and, laughing, I said, "I think you have to fix your car a little." Then I grabbed the butcher knife, quickly leaned into the car, and placed the knife on the jugular vein of his neck. With my most intimidating voice, I said, "If you know how many times you slept with my wife, trying to convince her that I'm going to let this happen." I could see the fear in his eyes as he stammered the words, "Just twice, in the last few weeks, it didn't mean anything. It was just sex for her and me. Let me go, and you'll never see me again." I looked at him as if with disgust. "I'm not going to be a pathetic scum to kill you. At least not now. But if I hear from the police or if I have any other problem with our little conversation today, then I'll come back to look for you. If you go to the police, I'll probably go to jail. Maybe I'll get out on bail, maybe not. Maybe I'll serve a sentence, maybe not. In any case, at some point in your future, I might find you in the parking lot, on your way to your car, maybe in the work elevator. I'll find you. I'm going to cut your throat, and I'm going to spit in your face as I watch you die. You choose. It might be the last time you see me. You can look over your shoulder for the next week, month, year, until it's time to end you." With those words, I leaned over him, drove the knife into the passenger seat, and I said that his S asterisk, 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 Sarah, is going to need this to free her, so you can take her with you. Or maybe, whatever takes you to the emergency room. But make sure to keep her out of my sight. I went into the house, and when Sarah heard the front door close, she yelled from the bedroom, "Is that you, Richard? Come get me. Did you fix everything?" With Mike, the first thing I thought was what an incredible idiot that woman was. I replied, "Sarah, Richard is in the car. I think he wants you to come out and talk to him. He changed his mind for a minute." Then Sarah came down, dressed in the clothes I had bought for her, the underwear and the robe she had put on. "What happened, Mike? Did you assure him everything was okay?" Sarah, I assured him that your future depended on him. I should probably go out and talk to him. She looked at me confused and said, Mike, please remember that I love you and that it will make us stronger. Of course, Sarah, feel stronger. She smiled and went out the front door, laughing. Immediately after her, I went to the garage and pressed the button to open the door. And when I went up the stairs, I heard a scream. What did you do? Mike, come here. I ignored her words and went up to the bedroom, grabbed one of our suitcases, and grabbed a good handful of clothes from her drawers, underwear, bra, and socks. I grabbed some t-shirts, jeans, and sweaters from the closet and put them in the suitcase. Then I went to the bathroom and I packed all the makeup and the things that suited me. I went back to the closet and I grabbed a pair of her sneakers. I went to the guest room at the front of the house. I opened the window and yelled, Sarah, come here, you might need this. And I threw the suitcase into the entrance. Some of the perfume pots may have broken, but it didn't matter. It wasn't my problem. Then I threw the sneakers, aiming at his head, but he managed to avoid them. Mike, she looked at me with tears in her eyes. Please, what are you doing? Of course, that was what you wanted. I'm sorry. I didn't intend to make you angry or upset, hurt. I can't believe how cruel and how ruthless he has been to Richard. He's my boss, for God's sake. Please, Mike, let me in and let's talk about how to get through this. Sarah, I can't even begin to say how ridiculous that sounded. Since you came home with your little trick to make me a cuckold, it made me wonder if you had a stroke, if you're on drugs, or maybe I never knew how wicked and pathetic you really were. Anyway, at this point, it doesn't matter. I want you to go to hell. Take your lover to the hospital, but on the way, be sure to ask what will happen if a single word about today's actions comes to me from the police or anyone else. I'll pack your other stuff in bags and you'll tell me where to drop them off. But you never dare come back to this house. With these words, I closed the window, went down, and opened the front door, throwing her purse at him. This time, at least, I hit her in the chest. Before closing the door, I couldn't help but add, You've had enough, Sarah. I locked the door and went to the kitchen to open my second beer of the day, when I realized I needed to talk to my lawyer. Immediately, in case the police show up, I also needed a referral for a good divorce lawyer. I went to the front window and saw Richard yelling and insulting her, Sarah, while cutting the cable ties. He put the suitcase in the trunk and left. He moved his butt and lay down, while she got in the car, crying and looking like she was in a state of shock, and then took a step back and drove out of the driveway. When the adrenaline in my system calmed down and I started to relax, I was completely shocked at what had happened. Because my wife had strayed so far from the path, he was surprised and a little scared of what he had done. I was angry at my boss, very close to cutting his throat, and now I realized that he simply wasn't worth it. I laughed when I thought about what he gave her, saying that he was alpha and I was beta, gentle and compliant. And allowing my wife to have the last word on benign decisions was done out of love and the desire for a happy, lifelong marriage. But she completely misinterpreted kindness as me being a submissive beta personality, who would allow her to cheat on me with an idiot like Richard. Wow, I never saw this coming. Over the next few days, Sarah stayed away from home. They kept calling me from unknown phone numbers, and I assumed it was Sarah since he had confiscated the phone. Finally, she left a voicemail, begging me to call her back. Call this number so we can talk about everything. I knew it was only a matter of time before I had to face him face to face. And since the police didn't show up to arrest me, I thought I had dodged a bullet and now I had to put an end to this matter. I called Sarah and I told her to come in an hour so we could talk. I hung up the phone. I finished packing everything in the house that he thought belonged to him and me. I sat on the porch, waiting for Sarah. He arrived in his car, which he had obviously taken from work. I didn't know if he was living with Richard, with his parents or friends, or in a motel, and I was a little surprised that I wasn't really interested in where I was. He got out of the car and he waved timidly before coming and sitting next to me on the porch steps. His face showed a variety of emotions, including a little fear, shame, guilt, and apprehension. His face was swollen and stained, which indicated to me that he had cried a lot and slept very little. She looked at me timidly. Mike, I'm so sorry. What I did, I don't know how I let Richard convince me to offer you sex with him, thinking you were submissive and that you would like to relive the last few weeks, and I don't understand how I fell for all that nonsense. I guess it was his dominance and his insistence on how good it would be for us and how we would have the best sex of my life, both with him and with you after that. You probably think I went crazy, and I probably did for a while. But Mike, now I'm back. I love you and I only want you. I ask you to forgive me, and I promise to be the best wife you've ever had, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make up for my guilt to you. Sarah, how was Richard in bed? Did you have fantastic orgasms that you dreamed of with what he did with his huge member? Stop, Mike. After that, never again. I approached him and he's very scared of what you said. You fired me and don't want to get close to me, and spent 2 nights in the hospital after what you did to him. He had to invent a story about a robbery, and we both clung to that story to keep him out of trouble. Well, at least he did the right thing about that. What do you want? Sarah, Mike, I love you. I want to come home and be your wife until the end of our days. I want to forgive me. I'll do my best to redeem myself with you. We can get through this and be better than ever. Mike, you decided that you're the only one I'll be able to love, and I need you to forgive me. What do you say, Mike? Can I come back, please, to the house? Sarah, I've thought about it a lot, and this is what I decided. We were in love for 2 years, married for 3. Now, after only 5 years, obviously our life together, or at least our sex life, bores you, and you're looking for something else. You may think you love me, and maybe that's true, but I'm sure you don't respect me. You would never think of me as a submissive beta who would be willing to let her cheat on me with an idiot like Richard. If you had any real idea of what love or respect is, also, Sarah, really, you cheated. Richard said so. You were sleeping with him at least several times in the last few weeks, while I was convincing you of that nonsense. Alpha beta male. Your lust overcame your vows and promises you made to me. And that's just after 5 years. What will happen in 7, 10, 15, or 20 years? How many times will you get bored and break those vows? Mike, I'll never do that to you again. You already did, Sarah, so don't say never. I've thought about it a lot. We have kids, we don't have a lot of savings, and our only real property is the house, in which there is very little equity. I decided, Sarah, that the risk of staying with you far outweighs the benefits. I am convinced that it is only a matter of time before you justify your adventure to yourself, and given the unfortunate episode with Richard, next time you will just act behind my back. I no longer trust you, and what's worse, I've lost respect. For you, I can't be with someone I don't respect, and whom I no longer respect. Sarah started to cry as I explained my decision, and now I was crying when I told her we were over. Sarah, we're getting a divorce. You'll leave your car, I'll leave mine. We can split the savings and sell the house. We both are, and I hope, to start over with someone who loves and respects me for who I am. I have already hired a divorce lawyer, so we can do it amicably, or you can hire your own lawyer. And now let's load your luggage into the car, and you can go and have sex with as many people. Alpha males with big penises. They like you want. I'm going to start moving next week, so we can get the house in order. Sale. No, Mike, you shouldn't. Forgive me. I need you. I love you. I really respect you. Just a mistake I got involved in. You have to forgive me. Sarah, I'm already so sorry. I've already said everything. Now it's time to move on. Forward in life. And if our paths cross in the future, let's just say hello and move on. Go ahead, and I hope you find what you want. You need. With these words, I started to load his things into the car, and when we finished, we just looked at her. I said goodbye, went into the house, and closed the door on our
Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. It's easy, fast, and it helps us produce new content.